Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. The new F125 game has been out for a while now, introducing several new improvements across the board, but VR performance has always been a weakness on the series, so how does it perform compared to the previous generation? In this video we will compare the two latest titles in terms of performance and visuals, and we'll also show through the lens footage, so let's get into it. The benchmarks are performed in the VR Ultra High preset with dynamic resolution disabled to ensure the best image quality possible. The Australian circuit was used because it provides a good balance on the amount of assets that need to be rendered, since it has both sparse and dense sections. The system specs are a 7900 XTX, a 7950 X3D, and 32GB of RAM clocked at 6000 MHz. The headset used for the review is a Quest 3 at 80Hz via link cable to avoid any potential connectivity artifacts and stay as close to the real image quality as possible. Starting with performance in clear conditions, running the in-game benchmark for F125, we see the average frame rate staying consistent at 79.9 FPS, GPU frame time hovering from 11 to 12.5 ms, with GPU usage from 83 all the way to 96, but usually around 89%. The frame time is near the limit of what would be considered acceptable, but I didn't notice any problems while playing. That said, it still shows that we're at the limits of GPU capability. Moving over to F124, we see a significant difference in performance, with GPU frame time hovering from 7.8 to 8.2 milliseconds, which is 3 to 4 ms down from F125. We see a similar trend on GPU usage hovering from 77 to 83%, which is down approximately 6% from F125 without any noticeable spikes. FPS averaged at 79.5, providing a very consistent experience overall. The wet conditions though, as always, hit the GPU harder. In F125, the GPU frame time was usually sitting at 12.5 milliseconds and spiking up to around 13.5 across the circuit. GPU usage was staying at the low 90s, but there were multiple spikes all the way to 100%, but despite the increased usage, the average FPS managed to stay at 79. In F124, the GPU frame time was from 11 to 12.5 milliseconds for most of the circuit, and GPU usage ranged from 87 to 94%, but usually sitting around 90% with the average FPS at 79.4. This brings F125 to new lows, while F124 in the rain matches F125 in clear conditions. Visuals have always been a big pain point on the VR versions of the F1 series. There have been several reviews on F125, others claiming a significant upgrade and others a downgrade. In my testing, the F125 visuals are a significant downgrade compared to F124. The major difference was that F125 is much more blurry, which makes me wonder if the visual quality changes, especially in lighting, are tough to encode and decode, leading to a worse overall experience over USB. I did also test using Visual Desktop at 200 megabits per second with AV1 encoding, and the results were identical to what I got using the link cable. But instead of just taking my word for it, I tried capturing footage through the lens, so you can see and decide for yourself. So, should you buy F125? Well, if you own a Quest 3 or a USB-based headset, the visuals look significantly worse, but this isn't the only problem. Since GPU performance has also taken a big hit, you are more limited in trying tricks like using the same game settings but render a higher headset resolution to improve the visual quality. That would be fine if visuals were better on the new game, but they are actually worse. So you have to strain your system even more in hopes to get the same visual quality as last year's title. If you want a DisplayPort or HDMI-based headset, I would suggest buying the game on Steam, test for yourself and refund if you don't like it. Unfortunately, I don't have such a device available to perform further testing. This was all for today. If you liked the video, feel free to check out my Nintendo Switch 2 review here. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Thank you everyone and catch you on the next one.